All right, everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, this is our very first video for Sankofa Animation Network. Sankofa Animation Network exists to uplift Black and Brown communities through animated film, faith-centered storytelling, and to create creative education, building a global community where underrepresented voices are nurtured, empowered, and seen. Thank you so much. This is our very first interview. We're going to be interviewing Krystian Rutledge. He's an amazing artist. Krystian is a product manager and designer with a background in education and visual storytelling. A former comic book artist, he now builds human-centered edtech products that connect people through culture, access, and shared experience. He's the creator of Umoja, an interactive platform focused on understanding the world one culture at a time. So thank you so much for joining me, Krystian.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, and what a great introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I want to start with this African problem. I'm going to be beginning with African problems because I think they're so insightful and just like they're short, but it's like a nice little thing to think about. So the one I have for today is don't ask me where I'm going, but where I have come from. So that one is
Mhm.
an African proverb for today. All right, so let's get started in questions. The first question I have for you is, can you introduce yourself? Tell me a little bit about your creative journey, and when did you realize you're going to pursue art and storytelling as a career?
Well, yeah, definitely. I feel like, for introduce myself, you did such a great job introducing me. But
Wow.
again, Christian Rutledge, born and raised in LA, California. Um, my storytelling background kind of stems all the way to when I was a kid. I would always be writing stories, writing books. Um, And did I go to school for that? Not at first. Um, I went to art school. I did some art classes, and it wasn't really until like my senior year kind of college that I really started diving into and leaning into my art. I started doing more art classes, and then I moved back home. I did some weekend art classes, and then I decided to go back to school and I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, where I got my formal education as a comic book artist. My first comic book that I created was called Africa, the Tale of the Spirit Master, where the whole purpose was to kind of share African themes through storytelling. I wanted people to read the comic and really get that idea of the culture and how they wear, how they talk, and how they dress. But I've also loved tech. Also, my dad was at IT, so it was a tech household. And so I wanted to figure out how to combine the passions. And, I started looking into animation and comic books and combining that. Where I successfully did where you can scan a page and then you can see an animated clip of the scene into a comic book. Um, Fast forward, that was kind of around COVID time, and everything kind of shut down, so that kind of put a pause to things. But my love for art and storytelling kind of never died out. I started looking into webtoons and I did my own web comic. Only got to one episode, but that was a fun experience and where I expanded Africa to include other cultures. I realized the comic book started taking a shape where now I'm introducing Aztec cultures, Polynesian cultures, and I have a good friend of mine from Hawaii and another good friend of mine who's from that culture. So I brought him on board so I can really get the historical accurate information. And so that kind of like and then when I got into design, um I began my career, as a UX designer, and it wasn't until my son was born
Mhm.
that Umoja came to life. I was just kind of sitting there and looking at everything going on in the world. And the whole purpose behind Umoja is to unite the world by understanding everybody's cultures. Umoja is a Swahili word, and I'm sure it has a lot other from a lot of other cultures, but it just means unite.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the preface. I remember one time at 4 in the morning, my son would not sleep, and so I decided like let me just get to work. I had a dream about it, and then it just started forming itself. It started coming alive, and here I am.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
so awesome. That's crazy that you had a dream about it because, like, yeah, I didn't know that part. That's so cool. That's so cool. And to
yeah.
hear how you've been working together with people from different cultures and the birth of your son inspired you. For people who don't know how old, I know you have a newborn, but when was your son born?
He is a month and a couple of weeks.
Oh my
So
God.
he was born the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh. A
And
brand new
he's
baby. And like,
he's right here in my lap looking right up at me like, what are you saying? Who are you talking to? But so if you see me looking down, he's right here. I'm just checking in on him.
oh, that's so awesome. What is his name?
His name is Omari.
Omari. I love that.
Yes. Omari, my little Omari.
Oh my God. Yeah, kids can really inspire you to really start moving because I don't know, there's something about once you transition into parenthood, you just the way you think is definitely different.
Right, definitely. And the funny thing is like the dream came to me 2 days before he was born. And
Oh,
I was like, okay, I've always been a big culture. My family's from Barbados.
yeah.
I was in a multicultural fraternity. We won the award for the most multicultural chapter.
Oh,
Uh, I was exposed to people from Trinidad, Costa Rica, Mexico, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. So we just had really people from all over in just that one chapter. Um,
yeah,
so
that's so cool. I remember we connected because like my family's from Barbados too, so that was one thing that we had in common.
right, yes.
So let's see. I think you kind of answered the second question, like the meaning of umoja and what it means for you. I think we can go on to like how has your culture shaped the way that you create, think, and move throughout the creative world?
Wow. It depends who I am. I have I do plan on going out to Barbados one day. I'm the first generation born here. My mom was born on the islands and my
Mhm.
aunties. I know growing up, they really did the best to just teach me about the Bayesian life and Bayesian culture. I have the flag tattooed to my chest. So for me, it's just a sense of pride. It's who I'm from, it's who I am, and it's how I just respect other people. I'm drawn to different cultures. I'm drawn to different lifestyles just because of just I've been exposed to so many.
Mhm.
And it just helps me respect everybody else because everybody else comes from their own place. They have their own stories. They have their own life. And for me, it's like I'm very interested. Like I would sit down and let somebody just tell me all about how you grew up and all your culture, just because it just fascinates me. And it just gave myself a pride, just because I'm also representing my culture whenever I interact with people.
Yeah.
I may not have been to the islands yet, but I know like I'm still a reflection of where my family's from and where how I was raised, and that's just kind of how I want to live my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Just like being a reflection of your culture, and you know that sometimes it's too. It's so true. We have to think about that. We have to be conscious, especially as like people of minorities moving in the world, just like
Right.
how much we represent where we come from. So I love
Exactly.
absolutely. Thank you. What inspired you? I mean, we did kind of touch on it already a little bit, but I wonder if you can go into a little deeper, like what inspired you to create the Emotion app and what you hope to accomplish through it.
Yeah. What inspired me was, I mean, honestly, it came to me as a dream. I was just sitting there, and at first, I'm always a builder. I'm always a person that has to do something. I
Yeah.
don't, my wife tells me I just don't know how to sit still and relax.
Yeah.
Um, and at first, it was just like with the series of AI coming, and I realized like I thought about all the projects and all the stuff that I've done, and it just keeps circling back to culture and identity and wanting to just share that with the world and get the world kind of like on the same page just by understanding each other. Because I feel like the more we understand each other, the more we can put ourselves into the shoes and understand where people are coming from,
Mhm.
the better we can kind of interact with each other. And so, but I didn't just want an app where you can come and just read a bunch of facts. You
Mhm.
know, that's not my taste. I'm a visual person. And so how I pictured it, this is the dream, word for word. I pictured like being able to open up the app and I can see a living, breathing environment of somebody's culture. And and I just said, let's just do it. I didn't have any other means at first of just wanting to say I can do it. Um, and so with Umoja, you come in, it's a free to use platform. It's not locked behind a login screen, because I think like cultural knowledge shouldn't be locked behind a pay screen.
Hmm.
I think like this should be free and access to everybody. Um, and you can come in, you'll be able to search what place you want. Now, I started off with this one place and one culture, which was the Maasai tribe, just because it has a lot of information already about them, and I just wanted to just push what I can do and produce. And so when you go in and you select Africa, you'll see Maasai. You'll be able to go in, but what I think is really cool and stands out is it's not just a bunch of facts. You go in and you'll see an animated village of how they would look and how they would live, the clothes. Then the user can choose to select on the pop-up items that they can read and learn more. They can. I'm working on a new section called Voices of the People, where you can actually read stories about real people from that tribe that's made an impact. Um, I plan for games. Ultimately, another dream, I'm a big dreamer, and I'm
Yeah.
a person that when the dreams come, I want to try to see if I can do it. But another reoccurring dream that stems off from this is I also want to get off of the app.
Yeah.
I can see Emoji World expanding to real life events.
Oh, love that.
I just picture like a big field, and you have tents represented from all the cultures around the world, as many people, and then we have performances where people can come and watch them perform the cultural dance or cultural knowledge or cultural storytelling, um, and then you can even have the food. Food, I'm a big foodie,
Yeah.
and so we need to have food there from every culture there, and
Yeah.
just a great time and just have people from the community just come as a family and just absorb the culture from everybody.
Yeah.
Um, so and then in addition, you can go to the app and, you know, step into the shoes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
I was really drawn to it too when I was going through your app because, and I saw like I was going through the Maasai tribe and I was like reading all the facts and I was like, because that was one of the tribes that I studied also, like when I was doing research for my graphic novel, JD's Story, I was just into the Kenyan culture and just studying the different tribes in Kenya and Maasai tribe. Obviously, it's like one of the biggest tribes there.
Right.
And like you're talking about like eating ugali and like how personal they are with the cattle and their wildlife and the dances that they do. And I was just like, this is on point. This is so good.
Yeah.
So
And you,
I think I was glad that it was a chart that I was familiar with. So like it was like aligning with some of the information that I had studied myself too.
oh,
Oh,
perfect.
yeah, and the way you mentioned too, like doing real life and in-person events, that just sparks so much. Like I could actually see something like that happening. One of
Yeah.
the really powerful things that I was able to experience with my husband, he comes from Native American background, and like we go to the powwows together and you see all the different tribes right there and they're sharing their food and their dance and their culture. And I've only seen it really with us with Caribbean culture when we go to like New York Carnival and like different carnivals that we have. But it's like if we had so much more of that, how much more powerful and connected we can be too. So
Exactly.
like I think that would be amazing to see something like that in person.
Exactly. And that's that's ultimately the goal, right? Is for
Yeah.
everybody who's not part of our culture to come and experience it.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can really get I'm already in talks with my friend from Hawaii. The next area that I'm thinking of unlocking will be from Hawaii because he's from Hawaii and he has a lot of cultural knowledge that he's been teaching me. And
Yeah.
uh, I'm glad that, the Maasai resonated because, that was the first one I chose. But I do want to get to Barbados,
Yeah,
definitely going to have some representation there,
I know, right? I want to see that. Share all the foods and everything, especially.
Right.
Even like the dialects. I think that's amazing. That's so cool. All right, the next one I have is can you walk us through like you also did you're ahead of the game. Just talk a little bit through about like what visitors can expect or what they'll see when the first time they see your app.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a big thing on on things like moving and animating. So the first thing you're gonna see when you come in is the world.
Hmm.
And the big title, Umoja, Understanding the World One Culture at the time. That was something I kind of worked with and kind of like been fiddling with, but the whole point is you're gonna learn about one culture and just absorb it, but then you can choose what culture you learn. You know, you can
Yeah.
always go back and you can
Hmm.
um so I'm hoping that when people come, you come with an open mind.
Hmm.
You come with just that fascination of exploring and um just come with open mind. You
Yeah.
know, you're supposed to be calm. There may be things that excite you, just welcome it, and explore. You know, the app is really meant for you just to explore and get lost in the people's cultures. Um, you mean
So
my, my son is
he's got something to say too. He's like, what?
right. See, he agrees. Like he's coming and exploring. Um, and then just dive in, right? Get lost. You know, right now I'm slowly building. I only have one tribe represented, but I think this is something that's just going to be alive. It's been a live product. I made it a web-based app so that things can update very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, so as I build, I'll just push a new update, and then next thing you know, you may have a whole new experience unlocked overnight,
Yeah.
and just dive in. There's a lot of and as I'm learning about what to do and what to include in this, because I don't have like new ideas come to me and I just say, yeah, this is great. Let's just do it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's how Voices of the People came. I was like, I wanted to make sure like when you come, you also learn about people from that culture, right? Voices of the People is just a section where you can learn about people who made waves,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the newest edition. And so, yeah, when you come to visit Emoja World, just come with an open mind. Just come ready to just explore. Um, and I also welcome feedback.
Oh,
You know,
awesome. Yeah.
you
Well, I
know.
love it. I think it's great. And I love that you can see it during the night and during the day and
Oh
switch
yeah.
between those two things. And it just gives you like a with the sound effects and everything and just movement and it just feels like, oh wow, like because I mean for me too, it's like I haven't been to the continent yet. I haven't been to the African continent yet. And it's one of the big things that I want to do, but it just helps you to kind of feel like, oh wow, like the senses are around you in a different way than you will see on TV. Like having
Yeah.
it there on your app and like having it like just one on one, it just feels like it's another dimension. I love that.
Appreciate that. And look,
Yeah.
I'm glad you felt that. The date night feature was a fun one. I was like,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, so how did you approach the visual design or the design process, and what guided your storytelling choices?
Um, I'm a the thing is I had to think about the age group and I had to think about
Mm-hmm.
okay, here you go.
Oh,
I had to think about just kind of like how I want to present it.
yeah,
I feel like an animation style one, I don't want it too realistic because I don't want it to like portray actual people that I have not been able to talk to.
yeah,
So I have to be careful with, but I also don't want it too cartoony where it's like, okay, this is really meant for like little kids because it's really meant for everybody.
yeah.
And as a team of me, I also had to think about how can I make this run to pretty much how can I make it? Exactly, right?
Hmm.
And I didn't start with building the screens. I started with talking to people. I made a survey, I sent it out, and I got people's feedback on what coaching means to them and what's lacking, what is something that they would want to see. I learned like some of them go to TikTok and YouTube and
Yeah,
the short. So that told me video content is big,
yeah,
right? And so, okay, video content is big. And now in this era when we're using a lot of AI. And I was like, okay, that's like my helpers here because I
Yes.
don't have a full team. I don't have that financial means of getting actual like artists on board yet.
Yeah.
You know, my ultimate goal is I can actually have a full production team and we just make our own stuff. But so I did use AI to help with the visual effects. And but all the information in there, I did research, you know, I did look up and I did feed it into the AI to make sure like, hey, like this is the information and this is, and then I always double checked it, like this is not, no, we're not gonna use this, or yes, we use this. And then I just tried version one. You know, I just um I did a trial on one of those AI platforms. I think it was the Galaxy one that has the connection to all of them, to a
Yeah.
lot of different ones, and that was very useful. And just trial and error. I just said, okay, I knew I wanted the world, and then I had to figure out how do I connect people to all the places. In my mind, it was like, well, a map.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
you know. So now I started with getting a geography map and making sure that you can click into the areas so that the user can choose where they want to explore.
Yeah.
Um, and then that led to, okay, now when I go into an area, what do I want users to experience? Well, I want them to be greeted. I want someone to feel welcome. And
Mhm.
so then I created a video of just people from that culture greeting them. Yeah, not like that, but you know, like um, I wanted you to just the moment you enter into learn, I wanted you just immersed immediately. So then, you know, and that's just how I started working. I started asking what I want him to feel, what I want him to think. I want him to feel welcome. So how can I do that? And then it just started coming to life one piece at a time.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. And to be honest, like even though like there's a lot of mixed feelings about how AI is used or when to use it and when not to use it. I think the way that you incorporate it is like super tasteful in the way that we should be using it to help people to understand things, to build on what the information that we're gathering for ourselves and really educating people. I think that
Yeah.
that's like if we're gonna use something, if we're gonna use the tools and like use them in a way that's gonna be beneficial, instead of
Yeah.
taking it. I think that's so like tasteful how you did. I think this kind of goes into what we're talking about. So what does healthy creative community look like to you? I know you were talking about like, eventually having a team and, expanding into like a community building events and things like that. So you can tell us a little bit about like what healthy creative community looks like to you, especially
Yeah.
for Black and underrepresented artists.
I feel like a healthy community is one that just really supports and uplifts. You know, everybody has calm down. Everybody has their own background and feeling, and just a community where everybody can be seen and heard. You know, like if I'm bringing a team on board, I want everybody to be like-minded now. Now, everybody has to have the same beliefs as me. Please don't. Like,
Yeah.
you know, have your own thoughts, have your own culture, have your own background, because then I'm going to lead on the information that you have to help get this part, like to help everybody come together closer. And I think a healthy community is one that comes together and just embraces each other. There's no negativity. You know, yes, you have different thoughts, but embrace people's differences. Understand where they're coming from. Listen to their ideas. Implement some of these ideas, and just be open because a community is not one person.
Yeah.
You know, the community is a group of people that can come together and just be a family, essentially. And that's just how I think that's just the main answer. It's just people to come share, be able to share, be able to support, and grow with each other.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because I mean, there's so much that we can learn from other people when we're willing to listen and to
Yeah.
even like understand people come from different backgrounds. I think if more people are willing to listen to others, we would be a lot of the mess that we're in right now.
You know, exactly. And I think that's another stems the reason why I started this because I feel like there's so much division in this world that
Yeah.
I feel in order to really unite, we need to understand each other.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great.
Mhm.
Have you had any moments in your career where community or lack of it made a big difference for you?
Yes, to both. You know, um, I've always been a person that I just like being surrounded by people.
Yeah.
Especially like-minded people.
Yeah.
And even to today, I still look for that sort of community, and I have a great community of people around me already, and I love each and every one of my people in my community. And but then there's also those moments where you're like, man, am I doing enough to be in this community? Is this the community like, should I be over here? Should I be over here? Should I be over here?
Mhm.
And there's times in my life where I didn't feel connected with my community. I think that the biggest time of that was when I just moved from up north back to LA. And I was up north for 6 years and then having to
Oh,
leave
wow.
that and come back home and kind of start over, essentially,
Yeah.
is what. And it took me a couple years to just get back off on my feet and gonna reconnect with my community. And since then, like I feel like it really makes a difference being a part of your community. I felt a little happier. I felt my life changed when I was able to make my own community out here while reconnecting with my old community.
Yeah.
And now the people that were part of me in my college life are some of my really closest friends. They were in my wedding and
That's awesome. Mhm.
and I talk to them every Sunday, and I talk to and they're all my brothers and my sisters, and so I think both.
Yeah.
There's times where I felt disconnected with my community, and then there's times like now where I feel like this is the closest I felt with my community.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I can definitely relate to that experience of when you move away and when you change and and people grow and people evolve once you move away too, and you might come back
Right,
and some of those relationships can get stronger and some of them kind of fade away. So
right,
I definitely understand, like, as much as I've been moving around
right.
in my life too. I definitely get it. All right. Um, let's see. Any advice that you would give to some creatives that feel maybe intimidated or unsure, or maybe like they're not ready to put their ideas out into the world?
Man, I have been there. I am still there. Like even where he just talked about Umoja, I'm like the biggest nerve-wracking is sharing it.
Yeah.
That's the scariest thing. However, you're not gonna get seen. You're not gonna get known if you don't share it. I wouldn't have this interview opportunity if I didn't share it.
Yeah.
I could have, why hide all the hard work that you do? And as a person that started my career as like a comic book artist, I was extremely hard on myself. That's kind of the reason I faded out of comic book artists because I was just way too hard on myself in that field. And I had to learn like you're not gonna be perfect. You're not gonna be 100% everything.
Yeah.
But you're you can't grow unless you put it out there and let the world see it because then the world is gonna tell you.
Yeah.
There's times where I'm like I made the comic book, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, man, I'm tearing it apart myself. But
Wow.
I put it out there and the community is like, dude, this is dope. This is awesome. This is great. And I would never have gotten that assurance that I was on something good if I didn't share it. So for all those who are making something, for all those who are trying to put yourself out there and just being that creative, don't be just put it out there. And if it's nerve-wracking to see it go live right away, there's the thing called scheduled post.
Yeah.
You know, I have done that with messages of something like I'm nervous or something like I'm nervous to post it or I'm nervous to share it. I schedule it for a time where I know I'm not going to be at the computer and I'm going to be busy at work doing something else. So that way it's just out and I
Yeah.
can come back and I don't have that whole like, because I just scheduled it for a future time. I don't even have to think about it no more. I can close my mind about it and then just see what happens.
Right.
Um, but the important thing is it took quite some time to get the confidence of just sharing. And
Yeah.
so share your work. Just get it out there. You're an artist, you're creative, and the world deserves to see your hard work.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good advice. It's so good because it's like, we have this instinct almost as creative to like, create things and make things. And then that anxiety comes up, along with it, like, oh my God, what is somebody gonna think? Or is it,
Right,
what's so and so gonna say? Or am I gonna get the likes that I want to get? Or am I get whatever? And I love that you just say like just schedule it when you're not gonna be around it. What I sometimes do is I'll just do like a click and run. Like if I want to put something out, but I'm nervous about it, I'll just publish it and I'll go for a walk or something. Like do something
right,
to just get away and not worry about like the immediate feedback.
right. And to tell you, I wish I knew that before too, because I
Right?
probably posted more. Like it's like that anxiety of like, I did
Yeah.
all this work. I'm nervous because I don't want, because I know the fear is to read something that's negative. I think that ultimately that's everybody's fear, right? That
Yeah.
somebody's gonna come back and say your hard work, everything you put your soul is trash. And that's absolutely not the case. It may not be for everybody, but it is for somebody. And and you're doing the work for yourself and you're sharing it. And if somebody doesn't have anything positive to say, guess what? That's not for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're just not your audience, and you have to be okay with that. When I was in art school, one of the teachers still gives me the best advice. I still remember it. It was like the one thing I ever took away from his class, which was as an artist, you're always gonna think that you suck. And there's no matter what, no matter where you are in your career, you're always gonna think your work sucks. So he said, all you have to do is make sure that tomorrow you suck less than the day before.
Yeah.
And so it was strange to think about it that way because no matter what, it's just reality. We are hard on ourselves. We're critics on ourselves. But just make sure you're improving. You're gonna improve by just getting it out there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and click and run if you have to. Just get it out there.
That's what I feel. It's true though, and even sometimes just improving is just it's just doing it again, like doing something else again, like being willing to keep making. I mean,
Right.
just the act of making is making you get better. Just the act of creating so much is making us grow as artists because it just informs our thought process and it just informs us of like the things that we want to create, like what you're making right now, and just like you said, it always come back to culture. But when you wouldn't know if you weren't like experimenting and thinking about the things that you're creating, like the things that you're interested in. Like, look at all these things I've made, and I keep coming back to culture, and it's just like I think that's
Right.
so important how we find ourselves as creators.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna end on. I have two questions, and you can pick which one you want to answer.
Okay.
All right. So one is a creative truth that you had to learn the hard way, or one word that you hope people associate with your work.
Oh, a creative truth that I have learned the hard way. Or one word. These are hard choices. I think I kind of touched on my creative truth, which was like I had to learn I'm not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Uh, um, that's just the creative truth. I know I'm not going to be perfect and I can't be hard on myself and I just have to grow. So one word I would say for anybody listening to learn about the work that I produce is it's a hard one too. Let me think. I would say since we're talking about the emoji, is I would say understanding. And I'll explain. I chose understanding because the whole purpose behind what I'm building is for people to just come in with an open mind and understand the cultures of the world. And I think even though that's such, so when you look at my work and you look at the stuff that I produce, I just want you to come in with an open mind to understand everything that you're about to read or experience and just enjoy it. And again, we're not perfect. So I'm open to feedback. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to the community coming together and help because ultimately the whole idea and the purpose is to understand the world one culture at a time, right? So,
Oh, I love that. That's so amazing. That's such good advice. I mean, and I could see too, just like the caring and just like the thought behind it. And I know that like you've got this new dad glow. But
I
it's
know.
it's showing through, like really, like I could tell you like the care and the concern, like really the heart that you have behind it. And I really like commend you for it. I'm so happy to see everything that's happening for you. And
Thank you.
yeah, I just want to, wish you the
I
best.
really appreciate that, and I appreciate the time that you came to interview me. I was honestly, I wasn't expecting anything to come from building. I just wanted to do something. So when I saw you message me, I was like, "Hey, wife, someone wants to interview me about Umoja," and I was like, just kind of blown away. So I really, really appreciate the fact that at least somebody resonated.
Yeah.
You
I think
know,
you're gonna get a lot more. I think as you continue to grow and people like learn about it, like I just, I'm seeing all the
and
best things for you. So
yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm taking my own advice. I am just trying to put it out there.
yeah.
And that was the hardest part is just share it. So again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
No, thank you. Do you want to share like your socials or where people can find you?
Yeah, you can just find me on Explore Umoja. That's on Instagram. That's the big my Explore Umoja. You can go there on Instagram and you'll find me. Um, Umoja world.figma.app is the actual or Figma.site, sorry, is the actual link where you can go and just explore the world itself. Um, so yeah, just follow me on Instagram and you'll be able to find me and connect me. My link is in the bio and my contact information is there. Explore Umoja.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christian.
And thank you.
And I will let you get back to your brand new baby.
Yes. I'm glad he's finally sleeping. Thank you so much.
All right, and take care.
Okay.